Hey guys, Josh here. I have Beck with me. Beck's just been through our 8-week transformational program, the Unique Body Blueprint, learning all about her epigenetics. Thanks for coming on, Beck.
No worries.
Beck is a fellow personal trainer. She's based down in Adelaide. So, some of the concepts introduced to her were a bit against what we've both learned in the past. But for you in particular, Beck, why did you want to get started with something like this?
Yeah, I felt that I just needed a bit of accountability and support. I had just, I suppose, dropped my habits and stuff like that, and I had known you for a while and was curious about, partly about the epigenetics, but I just needed that accountability and support. So I asked you to share it with me.
Yeah, no, perfect. And I guess that's where the most of it comes from. I know there is a bit of curiosity in terms of the health types and what I've managed to post about it and some of the other results we've seen. But I guess what is one of the main things that you noticed changing in your health when you started implementing some of these strategies?
Um, I felt more energized, definitely, because I had lost that kind of energy level. And I felt like lighter, which is an odd description, but I just felt lighter in that it didn't feel like things weighed down on me as much. And it was my ability to be able to return to habits that I knew I needed to do, but also create some new ones through obviously learning different things about what my body needed so that I could support it more effectively.
Yeah, perfect. And so you were a guardian health type. What were some of the standout changes that you had to implement that you didn't think didn't really resonate initially?
Optimum training times. So obviously I work a busy schedule and I'm working when most people are exercising. So trying to match that into my schedule and find like how to make that work. So that was something that was good. And getting a bit more dialed in onto the food. So I already ate my main meal at lunchtime, but it was just shifting what I was having in the evening from what I was having to something that served my body better, which when you and I first spoke, and I was like, I don't know if I can have soup for dinner. And I've been doing it now every day for like the last couple of weeks, and I have seen the benefit of it.
Yeah, well, you mentioned being lighter, which is something which guardians tend to feel because guardians are generally people which are thicker bodies. They just hold the weight a bit easier. But when we seem to change the eating windows and making sure it's eat like a king for breakfast, queen for lunch, and then princess for dinner, essentially, we notice that people are sleeping better too. Did you notice sleep as well?
Yeah, so definitely more rested, less wake ups throughout the evening. Um, and I think overall, I started wearing my watch again at night, which I hadn't done for a long time. And there was a considerable change from when I had previously tracked my sleep to now. And I was getting like excellent sleep score and stuff like that, which was cool because I'd never really had that before.
Yeah, perfect. And like we did have some challenges, like you said, around eating the right food at the right time because you're usually working at that time. So the other option was eating later. So there was that, but then also you said you were getting like a little bit hungry before training. So how did we manage to navigate that?
Just adjusting. So I became a lot more thoughtful of when I was hungry, having it earlier in the day. So not sort of like waiting until the afternoon or the evening to eat, and tried to have it sort of earlier in the day. Or if I was still hungry after I'd eaten my lunch, I'd find something else to add into it so that it would get me through the afternoon when I was notoriously like looking for food at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon because I was at work and I was exhausted. So by boosting what I was having at lunch definitely helped. And then I haven't had an afternoon snack for about 7 weeks, I think.
Wow. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's a huge change. That's awesome. And then there was so many other areas. I know you still got 2 weeks of things to look through. But in terms of when it came to your mind or the social part of the profile, did any of that resonate with you?
Yeah, so quite a bit of it. As I was watching some of the educational videos and stuff like that, I would find myself like nodding along, like, oh yeah, that's totally me. Like, and there was things that were in the videos that I just instinctively did without realizing that it was unique to me as my body type. So like I quite like being in my room and resting on my bed, and that was like a guardian thing, and I was like, oh, so it's not just me, it's actually genetically me as well. And other little things, like I like to have plants and stuff like that around my space. So I have a lot at the gym, and I have some at home, and realizing that that was part of my body type as well, is having the outdoors indoors, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, we imagine a bear, they love being out in the wilderness and stuff like that, for sure.
yeah,
And it's funny because like you could say that, and when you like, if people read star sign things, they'll try and mentally associate things anyway. They're like, oh yeah, yeah. But if I was to read, and I have read the back of your profile, I'm like, I just do not resonate with much of it at all, if anything, right? So for me, it's very goal orientated, move forward fast. Even the whole family stuff, like, so for guardians, family is really important. And don't get me wrong, my family is important for me, I love my family, but if my goal is in another direction, I'm going to probably move more towards the other direction. um Knowing you're a personal trainer, did that change anything for how you looked at people or how you manage yourself around people?
yeah, definitely. I started seeing things as I was learning not only about my health type, but learning about other people's health types. I would then look at my clients and be like, I reckon you're, and like try and match them to a particular health type, which has also given me an opportunity to support some of my clients who were having some struggles in the last couple of weeks, and be able to offer a different level of insight because I was looking at it through a different lens. So um being able to say, hey, maybe your body doesn't actually want you eating breakfast at 4 a.m. Let's make a shift. And then seeing my client come back to me and be like, that was so good, I feel so much better now. And so I was able to take some of that education from it to pass on. um for me, realizing, like, I always knew family was incredibly important to me, but like early on when I started working with you, I had lots of family stuff, and I 100% prioritized that over the stuff that we were doing. And then you'd said to me, oh, well, that makes sense because that's your health type. And I was like, oh, I feel better about it now, and not feeling like I was not ticking the boxes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's not an excuse to get out of it, and you didn't use as an excuse. You were still pretty accountable. You're like, no, I still managed to do this. I think it was just some of the education stuff. So you're able to say somewhat on track, but then yeah, that's sort of permission to understand yourself and be like, okay, well, maybe in the future when I have this level of awareness, I'm going to be able to make better choices because I know I'm pulled in that direction, but I still get a choice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No, cool. That's so good. Was there anything else that stood out for you in the program? Favorite part of it?
Um, I think for me, this the standout was really just having or creating a level of awareness, but having accountability. So knowing that you were checking in to see how I was going, how I was understanding the information. Did I have questions so that I could understand it a lot? Like if I wasn't necessarily picking it up, you would reinforce it for me. And then tying it back into like me, my health type, and like if I was struggling with something, you would help align that to what my health type was so that it made more sense to me. So that was probably something that was really important, was knowing that my actions was based on who I was and my health type. Um, what was the second part of that question?
Yeah, no, just why. So yeah, you pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
Um, I think in particular for guardians, it's like understanding that change is slow. And I think when you can fundamentally understand that, then you can stay on track longer because you know that's just the process I have to do.
Yeah.
And you didn't mention this was with another client, but she was just like, I can now look at other people and not get frustrated at myself or them because their body shape changes quicker. And it's just the idea there's like mini boats and there's big boats, and whichever one takes the time to turn and go. But you guys have incredible power and ability to support other people, to be like that caring, nurturing person, which I definitely struggle with. Like if someone complains and whinges to me for ages, I just kills me. Whereas you can just bear the load and be there with them and be present, which is pretty cool and great as a trainer.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think other than that, is there anyone you would recommend this program to? And if so, why?
Um, I think everyone would benefit from learning more about their body and learning more about why they do things that they do, or why they respond to certain things in a particular way, around all things. But obviously for me, the industry I work in is being able to educate people around the reasons why they feel like crap if they train in the morning, because maybe their body is better at training at nighttime, and that kind of stuff. So I think everybody would benefit from learning more about how their body is put together. And I think for me, the program helped to go to the next level on top of the information I already had. Obviously, I'm in the industry, so I have a level of awareness around particular body types and styles of training and nutrition and stuff like that. But it was like drilling into it a little bit more and looking at it through a slightly different lens that gave me the ability to create more knowledge around certain things. And it was good because it reinforced stuff that I already did. And it was like validating. And I was like, yes, I do know what I'm talking about. And I do understand things, and feeling that acknowledgement of actually being on the right track.
Yeah, awesome. I think for you, what was the biggest, what's the word? Like for me, it was the protein factor, like meat factor. Like I used to think it was against my values to tell someone to not eat meat. And I think that was one of the longest things it took me to overcome to be able to coach people around this. Was there anything like that, or was it that for you?
Um,
Was there any beliefs you were stuck on?
not necessarily, no, because I think over the years that I've worked in the industry, which is over 15 now,
Beating me.
I have so many things have changed, and I've been able to adapt to those changes quite well. And I'm happy to openly acknowledge and go, 5 years ago, I used to tell someone that this is what they needed to do, and I know that that's not right anymore. So I don't think there was anything that was like really hard for me to let go of, because I had already started to be a little bit more flexible with things. And obviously, because I'm constantly learning and evolving, it was just another way of shifting my mindset to different things that can have a really positive outcome for others.
Yeah, I
And
like that. Perfect. Yeah. And the cool thing about this system is it is ever growing and evolving. PH360, Dr. Cam, the information they put out there. And when you go deeper, like, I don't know if I was telling you, but I was on this the consciousness of biology, and I can't even say the words and the names. It was just, I think it was quantum biology and the consciousness of the science of consciousness. So how far they go, leveraging like understanding our bodies and specifically how they're built for purpose, I just think, yeah, vital for anyone to really understand and jump on board with. And yeah, I just want to thank you for jumping on board, playing all in.
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You'll need to finish the last 2 weeks, but we'll get it done.
I will get there.
But otherwise, thank you so much for jumping on, and I'll speak to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.